we go. Okay, now let me go. Oh, no, do not end stream. We just started it. That'd be silly. That's not the intention here. Where are stream links? Bam. Bam. We are approaching a critical impasse, by the way. I am slowly getting ever closer to running out of Google Drive space once again.
Oh dear God.
That's honestly impressive, Sean.
For reference, the Google Drive space I have available is 15 gigabytes. I already have more available than the normal person would. Which is very, very not good. It's almost like I have too many things in there. I just had to go clear out a bunch of old I had to go clear out like 2 of my Gmail tabs that I haven't touched since the one I kid you not have not deleted emails from since 2014.
Yeah, mine's probably about the same.
That's pretty bad.
In terms of the amount I have. In terms of emails.
I was gonna go look for something. I don't know what it was. Ah, my drink. The drink. Hi guys, how you doing?
The drink. Right.
Welcome. Let's we kind of did this we kind of talked a bit while we shouldn't have while stream wasn't live. So John and I yapped a little about the Switch 2 because we both have one.
Dude, it's fucking good.
I haven't actually
I can't use it at NAIC, which is really lame.
That is, you know what?
It requires specific charging port docks because it requires a more stronger power supply to function. So it wouldn't be able to connect through the internet while also charging, and so it would cause issues. So they have not allowed Switch 2s for this event. But God Almighty, do I pray that they have Switch 2s for the stream setup? Please, please, Pokemon, use them for like. I don't care what you have to do. Use them for the stream setup because watching this game on the Switch 2 is like watching an actual functioning game. Which sounds like the bare minimum for a competitive game that is live streamed to like tens of thousands of people every time it's streamed. But that's where we're at with this game. Like, when you fucking see how this game looks on Switch 2 compared to Switch 1, it is literally like, I say night and day, but that doesn't even give it justice. It's literally just like watching like a complete game versus like, man, this hardware is trying very hard and it's not wearing very well.
Yeah, I'm very excited to boot up 3 Houses and play a round of that game again because I have an addiction to it and be like, wow, this looks incredible. This is great. The actual plan is that hopefully I'll actually start playing video games again and I'll start working through my library that I have. Particularly the 2 things that I've owned for a while and have not, I guess 3, 4 if you want to get real technical. I didn't touch Scarlet and Violet at all. Like I literally maybe booted it once and played like 5 minutes of it. So that is the thing I could do. I also have Tears of the Kingdom, which my understanding is that those games are fucking insane on this hardware. Like they both just run immaculately. Which would be fair, I could go back and boot up Breath of the Wild and finally beat the final boss. Never did that. Very silly
you
of
have to
me.
buy like the $10 pack for Breath of the Wild to make it like a good functioning game?
I don't think I have to because I think I have the online version that I think I have the level of online that it will just give me it. Like I believe one of the onlines gives you a free upgrade path for them.
Okay,
I have to double check that. That's what I heard. I have Engage, which I plan to be playing, Fire Emblem Engage, because I bought that game and then went, I need to play that game docked, not in handheld. And then that was about the time where I just didn't have my Switch on me, and then when I finally did, my Switch wouldn't dock. My Switch won, so it was not gonna happen. And in the same way I bought Brothership, and just did not touch that, because at that point I went, I will just play that when the Switch 2 comes out. So those are the things I'm looking to do. I will also just boot up Metroid Dread and play it again because I have an addiction to that game as well. Because that game fucking rules. What I did do was I did one Grand Prix run through. I did the Mushroom Cup just to get a feel of how Mario Kart World races and plays. Felt good. I liked it. And then during D&D, I wanted to do something during the long combats that were not good for me because again we were in hell. And I do a lot of fire and poison, two things that are not very good against things in hell. So I booted up the Game Boy, the GBA stuff, and I played through like the first 4 chapters of Sacred Stones because I have an addiction to that game as well. It cannot be stopped. So not a lot off the Switch 2 for me, but I am excited to have it and to play it more in depth. I'm gonna lose my goddamn fucking mind if I pull one more Tapu Koko EX. Did I give you this update, Michael, about where we're at with
6
this?
now, right?
7.
Yeah,
I have
mean,
7 now.
Yeah. I was in
Oh,
call
you're
yesterday.
seven.
And
Yeah.
you mentioned there were 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Sean,
have.
you're
I don't.
So good.
Every other EX in the game, I own at most maybe 3 of. Like, and it's only like 2 of them. I still have 3 EXs. 2 now. I have 2 EXs from this set that I just don't have. And sorry, I was doing a wonder pick just to see. No, I did not. I had a chance to fix it. I did not. I still am missing 2 of them, from this set. They're the only 2 cards I'm missing from this set. Very upset about that.
I'm only like 4 off, I think. But
I'll
like,
just have to wait to trade any of my Tapu Kokos. Surely I'll find somebody who has a Lycan Rock or a Dugtrio.
I might actually have a couple of those. Do you like on Rocky X? I might have 2.
Yeah, I would.
But
we can't do that until the next set comes out because they hate us.
So Sean, you want to talk about hating collecting Pokemon?
Yeah, how's that going for you?
So fun fact, I'm building my team for NAIC, and one of the mons I'm using is called Zamazenta, who is the dog from Shield, right?
Yes.
I don't have Shield, and I don't cheat. So here's the issue. Also, if you see my face is really red, I was at a ball game today and I got a little sunburnt, even though it was like super overcast. But the Tigers won, so it's worth it. But back on track, the only way to get like a legitimate Zamazenta is either to A, know somebody, B, go get and complete all of Shield within checks notes 6 days. By the way, I work the next 2 days. Or you gamble. However, there is one way to gamble correctly on Pokemon Home like GTS, and that way is through Pokemon Go actually, because you cannot hack Pokemon into Pokemon Go. It's not possible based off of like how like being a mobile device and like how it works and like how you connect to like home and stuff. You just can't do it. So the only way to guarantee a legitimate Pokemon from that trade station is to trade specifically for ones that are level 20, because that is what they come at from Pokemon Home, that have the Pokemon Go origin stamp, which can be hacked, and the Pokemon Go like top right mark, which is the most recent game they were transferred from, because you can't transfer something from Home or from Pokemon Go that is a hacked Pokemon, because you can't get hacked Pokemon in Pokemon Go. It's just not like feasible right now. So that's the only way to guarantee that you have a legitimate Pokemon from like a GTS trade, and not from freepokemon.co, which definitely has not happened before, and definitely not has been on stream before in certain matches where people check their summaries on stream and then got banned and lost their Pokemon afterwards. Oops. Yes, there is an actual thing where someone did that on stream in an actual tournament, where it's just like freepokemon.org is the original trainer for this like random Pokemon they have.
Ooh.
It's like, bro, all you do is not check your status. Like, what were you looking for? But yeah, NASC is gonna be really fun. I'm playing a pretty interesting team, I think, that's a little bit unique. It can miss moves. It's really awesome. I love that. It's really fun. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have not played Shield Dog before in tournament. I have not played the other legendary before in like actual official tournament. Just locally. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I've been working with a couple of buddies on this team for a couple weeks now because they wanted to build around a certain specific Pokemon that is like less than 0.5% usage. And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun because it has some mods I like, and so get to give it one more ride this season, see how it goes. And yeah, Amber's going and playing as well. That'll be fun. We leave on Wednesday. I work the next 2 days. You might do math and be like, that sounds like a lot of work, John, because you'll be getting home Wednesday morning, and you are correct because I haven't packed yet. But yeah. Also, like we said, you can't use Switch 2 for Pokemon, which means what you have to do if you transferred all your data over, because Pokemon is specific to like individualistic save files.
Yeah.
So you can't like have it on both. You can transfer the game and play it and start a new file, but the save data you can only transfer once.
Yeah.
And so what I have to do now is every time I want to play, I have to like take my Switch 2, transfer all the save data back to Switch 1, and then use my own game share cart to play the game.
Thank God you
is
can transfer it back.
Yeah, you can. I did a lot of research beforehand, and worst case, you could always just start a new game and then just trade the mods over through your Pokemon Home account, and just have like a game that has gotten. Fun fact: have to at least go get the Terra Orb. If you have not gotten the Terra Orb in game, you cannot Terra in battles, but you can still battle. That has happened before, also on live stream with their consoles that they give you on live stream. They hadn't played far enough to get the Terra Orb, so one player could just not Terra in a game. This was like back in like the first like year or something like that, but it was just like it was really funny to watch the player go like, Judge, I can't Terra, like it won't let me physically Terra.
That's insane.
It's very funny though, very, very funny. But that's kind of it for me. Been a lot of Pokemon prep, a lot of work. Go Tigers, best team in Major League Baseball still. Very awesome, very cool.
Yeah. Other things for me, it is the fucking Summer Games Fest. So I've been watching trailer content for the past 2 days. 3 if you count the state of play. There's cool things. I'm excited about stuff. And interested to keep my eyes peeled for certain things. Manga stuff. I'm a little behind still on a lot of things. I did not get through all my stuff in Shonen Jump today. I did get through Akane. Very excited to see what they're doing. I think the premise of this arc is really rad. Elusive Samurai is on chapter 206 and ended this chapter with, you thought the main villain's greatest acts of history were all of his wars and fights? No, it's this political conversation we're about to go into the next couple chapters. I went, what the fuck are you doing, Elusive Samurai? I'm like, what do you mean you're not done yet? It is ridiculous. I have no idea how long this manga is gonna be. Hima-ten's a very good week this week. There is a changing room scene in this chapter. Heads up, if you haven't read it. Blue Box, very good. Things are moving in ways that you may not expect. Kagurabachi sick as fuck. The Kagurabachi panels this week are insane. One Piece, very cool. We finally saw Luffy for the first time in like 4 weeks worth of chapters. As we are used to. Ultimate Exorcist is rad. I cannot express this enough. I also cannot undersell. It is Pride Month. This main villain is so fucking gay. I cannot. Him and the main character are in their fight, and they both fall out of the sky into the spinning teacups in an amusement park. And let me get the dialogue from this panel. To which the main villain goes, "So let's enjoy ourselves until the sun comes up." And Kiyoshi's response is, "Pass. I'm good." And then the main villain goes, "So you're playing hard to get, huh?" And Kiyoshi just fucking spins the teacup on them. This, for what is like one of the major final fights, seemingly for this arc, if not the entire manga, this shit's goofy as fuck and I love it. I have not caught up on some other things though. Somebody else talk.
So for things that I've been doing, I played RuneScape, as per usual. I played more Persona 3 Reload. I'm not quite nearly as far as Michael is in it.
Well, no way.
I just beat the first boss. I'm a little bit further than that. God, this game's really good. Like, it is the perfect remake to me, aside from the fact that I wish they had FemC, but like also this entire game is voice acted, and that is essentially making an entire different game. So I get it, but still, very good game. I also started playing Inscription a little bit.
Have you not
that game-
played it before?
No, I have not.
Oh,
played
I
it
thought
before.
you had. I thought you had. I just because I saw
No.
you playing it, and I was like, oh, it's back on the on
right.
Inscription.
No,
That game.
I've
That
never
game's
played
rad
it.
as
That kind of
fuck.
shit. I keep getting told
I'm
to play
about
it.
to go through. I know I'm not supposed to know this, but I'm about to go through the first cabin. Like I'm just about to finish it.
Since you know that, I will say, of how the game is segmented, there is like a portion of the game that I myself was not the biggest fan of.
Fair.
Like there was a second where I was like, oh, I much
Weird
preferred.
Until I find out whether or not it's safe to not learn about Inscription.
Yeah, there's just a part of that game where I was like, I don't like this as much as the rest of the game. But otherwise, I thought that game was rad. And when you're done playing it, you also can just do free runs of like the beginning part of the game, where it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
you just fucking do runs of this.
It's a solid roguelike.
Mhm.
It's fun. I've had my usual weekly like Marvel games, in Alien. I got to kill another player this week in Alien because
Nice.
that's been the plan this whole time. In Alien, I was secretly an android, so I got to reveal that I was an android this week, and that was fun.
That's right. Mason's actively killing players, not characters. He's killing
Yes.
people. Cold
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah, I'm flying out to LA to kill my buddy Sean.
Nice.
Aside from that, work, more work. I can't think of anything else. Oh, I started Fate Zero as well this week. I watched the first episode of that.
I don't know if I've ever finished Fate. I don't think I ever finished Zero. I got a good ways into it. I know that.
I'm gonna watch more of it. It certainly made me throw up from a certain scene.
Yeah.
Because yikes. I'm also I am caught up on Windbreaker season 2. This season's rad as fuck. It's
I've
so
heard.
good.
I've heard.
It is so good. The fight choreography is sick. There are 2 characters that actively do ballet choreography as they fight. It's sick. Yeah, that's about all I've been up to. I'm almost caught up with Machad Atelier. I'm like 14 chapters behind right now. So I'll be caught up with that probably by the end of this week. I haven't read this week's stuff in Jump, but I'll probably finish that by the end of tomorrow.
Mason, okay, real quick. You read last week's Kagurabachi chapter, right?
Yeah.
So, something happens in that chapter that I read it and went, yeah, cool. I'm glad that character's here. My brain forgot, because it's been a while since the thing had happened with them, and they talk about it this chapter, and I went, wait, yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because they explain it this chapter. They do explain it.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where you're just like, wait, you were
You should not be here. You should not be here.
no.
Mason, incredibly dope the way they explain it. Incredibly sad the connotations it carries. Oh my god. And the final panel for this week is so good. It is perhaps incredible.
I'm so excited to watch how this gets animated.
Duh.
This manga is rad as hell.
I'm 3 sessions away from D&D ending. So, what the fun thing that happens is, we play this Thursday, we probably fight Kaas, and then our last 2 sessions are go to Pandemonium and fight Miska the Wolf Spider, and then fight Vecna. The problem is, we do this week, and then Dylan goes on his honeymoon for 2 weeks, so we have 2 weeks off, and then we finish the campaign at the end of June. And then we get ready to start the next one. Which is fucking gonna go to level 20 again. I'm not prepared. It's actually supposed to go beyond level 20. I don't know what the fuck Painless is cooking in that regard, but he's cooking. Michael, did you finish Persona 3?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You never know.
I have reached, in the most vague terms, the final act of the game.
Okay. Did you ever unlock that last social link?
No. I understand the context is that I mean, it's not exactly a spoiler. So it's I guess it's social link. It's what I'm missing. And notably, it says like every time we try to interact with her
you
in
did
school.
get the other ones you didn't have last time we talked.
Yes,
okay.
I did get Moon, and I did get Moon in that set of them. Yes. I know, but yeah. So it's purely that one physically is locked behind story events occurring, and finally, I think that's gonna open up soon. TM. But yeah. Yeah, I'm in the final segment of that game. I'm at the point where I can do what I'm guessing will be my final push through Tartarus to the ceiling, because I do know how tall Tartarus is. It's a random ass number, goofy odd number. But yeah, Persona 3, good game. Absolute nonsense. And that's what, for gaming wise, I haven't done a whole much more than that. I mean, I did like Destiny stuff. But other thing I did, so on Friday, me and two friends went exploring for Switch 2s. We went way too late in the day. Though there were none. But I did make other purchases, as you do. So I obtained a new board game.
I have
did the Far Adventure of Everdell. I don't know the difference. It doesn't have a rule section explaining the difference between this and the base version of Everdell. That game's fun. It's a game where you're a bunch of little critters and you got to make a city and collect resources. Card-based game. It's a cool game. Cool time. I played that with friends on Friday. That night, I played it with them. The night before that, I think I've been hanging out with these people a lot because they're all like out of school now.
Yeah.
So I've played it already twice this week. I have played Betrayal.
Good.
Both times I was traitor.
Nice.
Both times I have won.
Nice.
And it purely just was both times. The one time it felt like they just kind of got fucked on rolls. The other time it was a really early thing, like a really early omen pull, because we just be pulling omen cards. Into me just kind of vaguely understanding the game more and just insta pursuing them. But yeah,
there are just some haunts that like just don't go well, especially if you pull them early for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the second one, they were quite literally a single point off on a roll from winning.
Ooh, rough. Mason,
and
you
then
also have Pringles.
And then because they failed that, I then killed the person who was the scary one, and they could no longer do anything.
Fun fact, Mason, that came with that we gave out the Pringles and a bottle of Coke with the Switch 2 for pre-orders. I cannot express to you that night bagging the orders and going, is it really a good idea to put a bottle of soda in the same bag as a brand new $400 console? To which my manager went, yeah, your coworker said the exact same thing when she walked in here. And she went, well, that's what Walmart wants to do. And quite literally, the only thing between it and the Switch was a Walmart bag. I did, however, get to see a couple of Reddit posts and Twitter posts where people were like, "This is cool. I'm so happy I got soda and chips." And I was like, "Cool. I'm glad people liked it." I did not stop and go, "But what happened if the soda broke on my Switch?"
It's fine. It's in a box.
It's fine. At least we didn't. At least we didn't staple through the screens.
Right?
By the way, as someone who's opened the
Crazy.
Switch, holy fuck, how? How did you do that? Like, that feels insane to, like,
They got
how
mega staplers.
how strong were their staplers? Truly insane.
The mega
Sorry.
staple.
Sorry, Michael, did you have anything else? You bought books.
I did. Yeah, I did obtain. Also, that's over here. I got the first 2 volumes of Medalist.
So I assume that gets not through what the anime
No.
gets through.
Not even close. Volume 2. If I quickly check the back of it.
I wonder if there's anything that they left out.
I mean, there most definitely is. That is how adaptations work. Oftentimes.
You'd be surprised sometimes, though.
I mean, there just tends to be little bits and pieces that they just go,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not like that important.
Until they find out 27 more chapters later that it was. Whoopsie.
So, volume 2 ends with her getting to Kyoto, which is the really big final thing. The thing we had like episode like 7 or 8, like that
Yeah,
big competition.
The one where
I recognize the characters.
the one where she gets second.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, because this is the one where she gets injured. So we're right before the time skip that we had. Is
Yeah,
where that
I mean,
is.
We have to do the
Entire competition.
I imagine volumes 3 and 4 are the competition, or would be.
Could just all be 3. I don't know if it'll depend.
I mean, yeah.
It depends on where 2 stops exactly.
It quite literally so the last bit of it is welcome to Kyoto, and then it shows like a bit of Hikari backstory stuff right after.
Oh yeah, maybe that is gonna be 2 whole volumes worth of content in there.
Like it is her walking in and then going welcome to Kyoto, and that's just where that ends.
Crazy. You got anything else, Michael?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, guys, welcome to our anime podcast. It is that time where we talk about anime. Specifically,
We are, in fact.
We are. Yeah.
We are.
Specifically, our 7 shows we have left. That's right. We've watched episode 7s, and it is 7 shows. Just how that be. So we have those shows left. There's gonna be spoilers for those. We won't be talking about anything past episode 7, despite numerous of our shows being past episode 7. And as always, it is time for the power ranking. This week's power ranking is a 3-4 split. Top 3, bottom 4. Because there is no other way to do this. Congrats, Michael. You are
That's
the
not
only
true.
person.
Technically, you could do top 4, bottom 3.
Or I could do top 3, middle 3, bottom 1. Spicy. Never. But yeah, Michael, congrats. You're the only person with a slightly different opinion that requires the bold. So you get 2 of them.
Sweet.
You get 2 of them bolds. So we're gonna dive right in and start talking about stuff. And I believe that means Michael.
Yeah, Umamusume, Cinderella Gray. We're here. New school.
Those girls call.
She's adorable.
We're at the new school. They're in their new uniforms, and Ogre's like, wait a second. School uniform? I've never worn one of these before, even though I've been going to a school with a uniform for 5 months. Because all she did was wear her tracksuit the whole time. I said I have my little notes for summary here. We have new school. Ogre proves she is the GOAT. Yeah, Ogre this episode kills it. Every moment she is speaking. So she gets to school. And we learn the person who's going to be her trainer at this school is Musaka, I think his name is. It's Joe's
Rope.
uncle.
Rope.
Rope.
Don't call him, but Rope.
Stop calling Rope.
Rope. It's Musaka. We also very quickly meet 3 of the other people who work under, or at least one of the other girls who'd work under him. And then we learned one of the stupidest rules I've ever heard. If you're ever if you're going around campus, you gotta be running. Okay, cool.
Except for when you're me.
Yeah. He's like, but I'm old, so don't make me run. He gives them a little tour. He goes, yeah, this school, like, you may have thought the school you were at was kind of cool. Zooms out. Nah, this school has literally every facility you could ever conceive of existing. And you see, like, in the top right of the school, you have actually, like, 12 tracks overlaid on top of each other with different materials building the ground.
Why is there a soccer field? They don't do that here. I refuse to believe.
No, it's for practice. You know, the
Fucking-
coordination
Fucking
or something.
tennis,
I don't know.
tennis courts at this horse racing school.
They need it for reasons.
Uh,
They need it for all the kids who are in the tennis club. Anyway, yeah, so she gets to class. She gets introduced.
Well, she meets
And
Simboli Rudolph first.
Does she meet Rudolph
Yes,
before this point?
because she gets the
Yeah.
tour first. So we
Um,
get cool ass lore about Simboli Rudolph, which is that
yeah,
she's
that
fucking
she's
the
cracked.
goat.
She's cracked. She's the only 7 crown, so she 7 consecutive wins of the Triple Crown event or something. Some bullshit like that.
She's won like every race that's in the national circuit.
Yeah. We get like the greatest quote of all time, which is the only thing you know for sure about Simboli is that she's going to win the race. The race, the only thing you know is she is winning. Yeah, and then she's like, okay, and we got, and it's one of the things. It's like, yeah, it's like what other person could be in charge of a school like this than this? So she gets to class, and the teacher's like, okay, so guys, here's Ogre, and they're like, whatever, it's some girl from the countryside, and then she goes, her record is of 12 races, she's won 10, and then the other 2 she got second, and then they're like, oh wait, that's kind of crazy. Then they also go, but she's also from regionals, which means it's like not as crazy, still kind of crazy though. But then the teacher goes, okay, so here's all your I'm gonna give back all your permission slips for you to be in the classics. And then she goes, my permission slip. And they go, you didn't hand one in. She goes, I didn't know it existed, because she got fucked on timing and it got there like, and she was transferring like right in this weird in between time, and got fucked on it. So now she is no longer able to participate in what are called the classics, which is like a very specific set of races that are important. She'll just do them next year or whatever. I mean, so she hears it and she goes, well, that's kind of annoying. And she goes to her her trainer, and he goes, well, yeah, just kind of got fucked on it, I guess. I guess we gotta deal with it. I don't know. And she goes, nah, I know what I'm gonna do. And goes and marches up to Simboli Rudolph's office and goes, hey, can you could you like kind of bypass? And she goes, no, I fucking can't. No. But Ogre Cap goes, but you will. I will make you do it.
Aura.
Ogre was absolutely fucking bonkers this episode. Everything she
And we're
does
not
is
and
just
we're
pure
not
aura.
done yet.
Yeah.
She's got a couple more.
Yeah. So we then he goes, okay, so you're gonna participate in this, yeah, because she wants to participate in the Japan Derby, the Nippon Derby, which is like the Tokai Derby is kind of like the big race of the fact that of the country bumpkins in that specific location. This is like the Indy 500. This is like the race of races. This is where the goats go. And she goes, well, that's me, so I gotta be there. And then so she's gonna race in this like other smaller event before this, which is still like a really big event for a new racer in this area, because she doesn't get to do like the smaller ones because those are all in the classics, because bullshit race politics. And her trainer goes, so this person you got to be scared of is Black Ale, and I'm like, that's just that same person who's in her class but a different name. What do you? And she's angry all the time. They have a little confrontation. Nogiri goes, oh, I've got it. She goes, okay, yeah, if I win this, you gotta fucking leave. And Nogiri goes, bet. I'll put my own bet on the table. If I win, you gotta watch your language. And I was fucking like, yes, goat. Be the goat that you are. And then she gets to the race. Then she has a little training where they're like, it's like, yeah, so this is what'll happen when you're against like people who are good at racing and like work together in teams. or she's racing behind 2 of the people under Misaka, and he goes, okay, so they're gonna run ahead of you, and you're gonna trail behind. I'm gonna give you a signal. You're gonna try to get ahead. The moment he gives it, you see the 2 of them just like converge and make a wall, and it's like, oh, wait, that's a problem. What the fuck do you do against this? We still don't know what the counterplay is against this. There isn't, apparently. Just get fucked. But the bit is that you have to not fall for their feint. You have to just kind of do some... Or the bit's gonna be, she just dips even lower because she already has the goofiest running stance of all time and slips between their hands. That's gonna be the Ogre method. But anyway, so Biz, she has to kind of win this race. Saki goes, you know what you gotta do, Ogre? Just gotta loosen up for this race. And she goes, got it. And we see her go out. She walks out. And she does this little fucking little flop around. She's about to go ham. I also missed that at one point Belno goes to her classes. She goes to walk in. She opens the door and 3 fucking absolute nerd emojis go, holy shit, it's new person. And nonsense. 10 out of 10. Can't wait for next week's race where Oguri cooks.
Shoutouts to the one horse in Oguri's class who is like, we accept you here. You seem like you are a worthy opponent. It pops up her record and it's fucking nothing. She hasn't done a single goddamn race yet. I like the energy you got.
Ah, finally a worthy opponent. You haven't done anything. Exactly.
That means I've never lost.
God, there's also the bit where Black Ale calls fucking the regional area she's from a sandbox, and Oguri goes, that's not how that works. It wouldn't actually be a sandbox.
There's no stand over there.
Because she's dumb, and it's beautiful. Well, this is a good episode. I really enjoy the show. Oguri is great 100% of the time, the entire episode, and that is wonderful.
This episode's just kind of fun. Like, you get immediately thrown into the new setting, and so does Oguri, and she just takes to it. It's great.
We also get a post-credit scene with the girls. Now that Oguri's gone. It's very cute, very good.
I will say, do you think they're gonna let our girl in the classics?
I
She can make it to Tokyo Derby.
think if she pisses off enough really good racers, they're gonna go, I want her to be there so I can beat her. And then what do you do when the entire horse racing community goes, I want to beat her at the Nippon Derby?
And I can't. She's not allowed.
If you piss off a...
She just goes into the main office and goes, vouch for me. And she goes, you haven't done anything. And she's like, who do I have to beat?
Everybody.
Put them in front of me. I will race them faster, and then I will get into the derby. Yes. And she's like, no. And she's like, I will race them and beat them better. Understood. And then leaves. Like, and then you just have like the Triple Crown, like legendary, like Hall of Fame racers go, the fuck is this bitch doing? I love this bitch.
And
You got spunk. You know what? I appreciate it.
You got spunk, kid. You're still not getting into the derby, but you got spunk.
fucking moves, cause and she goes back to her trainer. He's like, "What you did? What? What do you mean you walked into her desk and demanded you be put into the Nippon Derby? That's crazy."
Me on the back of the stage, just like, Joe, what the fuck have you dumped on me?
Shouts, by the way, to the reporter who we get introduced to, and she gets to this race, who looks at her and goes, "What are you?" She's like, "Why are you here?" And then he thinks about it, he goes,
your knees work.
he's like, "Why are you here and not anywhere else?" And he goes, "Oh, because, this is the only thing you can do." And then he sees her fucking shake it out, and he goes, "She's a character. I like this."
She got spunk. Oh no, I forgot that they do the little like entrances or like introducing the racers. Black Ale walks out, she like tosses her jacket up, points to the sky, and you hear the crowd erupt. Oguri walks out, and she goes, and you get like a little flash. It's like, okay, when you walk out, you gotta toss off your jacket with style. Rips off her jacket, throws it at the ground,
Spikes it.
Yeah. Fucking,
Everyone's like,
she's
what the fuck is
she's
wrong with this
so
crazy
good.
lady?
I love her.
Oguri is wonderful.
I love her little dingus.
Oguri is such a little bean and also an aura farmer at the same time. Like, holy shit, she's gotta walk around farming aura this whole episode.
People don't understand that this is the true aura farming show.
Everyone like looked at her walk in there like, I mean, we need to have some losers in this race. And then she blows them out and they go, holy fuck, she's actually good. Shit, fuck.
Wait, she's the goat.
Actually go to
Oh, there you go.
Oh man, no, so good.
Mason.
So Vigilantes this week. We've introduced a new character that could be attributed to being best girl. So this week, Koichi is in his college classes, and he gets approached by a girl named Makoto, who is like, "Hey, I know you're Koichi. You're that weirdo. I know, but hey, I don't think that I haven't talked to you before. I want to get to know you. Also, I want to do some research with you. You want to hang out?" And he's like, "Yes, they're hot, of course." So they go to hang out at his apartment, and he goes to clean it up while Pop Step happens to be there. She hides in, I guess, the closet, behind the curtain.
It's a section of the house that's the split. That's our portion.
Yeah,
Behind
that
the
she's
curtain.
supposed to be in anyway.
This is like a bit we said for episode 2 with the way they split up the house between her and Knuckles. Yeah.
But they he takes a bit to clean up the house, then invites Makoto in, where she says that she wants to do research on it's Naka. I don't remember what the actual title they gave them is, but their group of vigilantes like Knucklebuster, Pop Step, and Crawler. And he goes, "Yeah, sure, I guess. I can't really say no because that would make me suspicious." And Pop Step and Knucklebuster kind of lay into him before he's like, "No." Knucklebuster actually says, "No, I get it." And then the second half of this episode is just them going around and trying to find where, trying to get sightings of the vigilantes. While this happens, we get a villain that takes Makoto's laptop. Excuse me, before I go into this, we find out that Makoto is actually the sister of Sakuchi, who, if you've watched original My Hero, is a detective that is friends with All Might. Which is an interesting twist. She also wears fake contacts to make her eyes more green, which is an interesting thing. During the bit of them doing their research opportunity, villain steals Makoto's laptop. He has the quirk of soccer. I don't understand how this works. The show doesn't explain it either. And
He's just good at soccer.
And Koichi runs off to try and stop it. Ends up quick slipping and beating the Crawler. Stops the guy. I believe he doesn't actually stop them. The punks actually stop them. He runs back and hands the laptop off, not back dressed as Koichi. Hands the laptop off to Makoto, and she goes, "Okay, cool. By the way, my quirk is actually I'm a living polygraph machine. I just have to actually touch you." As she's shaking his hand, goes, "So you're the crueler, right?" Because she keeps messing up his name. He goes, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Oh, not lying. Okay, I guess you're right." And we kind of just leave the episode off with her going, "Okay, well, we'll do more research, but I swore it was you." Oh, weird. Anyways, I think that's most of this episode. Pretty much just the two separate bits. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. Makoto is a wonderful character, and it's very interesting watching Koichi kind of try to keep this secret from her. Also, just adding more to the bigger plot because we know Suguchi is looking into this drug as well. So
Yeah, we also see that, like you mentioned, we see a character from regular My Hero that we know is the detective who's in charge of that area and works with All Might a bunch and stuff that we see in the main plot. It's really cool. They just sprinkle in this little stuff this is actually this person's sister, who's trying to do her own detective work and figure out who these vigilantes are. And it's just so funny that you can see it from a mile away. You're like, ah, her power is to be a polygraph, and she's gonna say the name wrong, isn't she? She's gonna say the name wrong. She said the name wrong. He's like, no, that's not me. I am the crawler. See, I mean, to be fair, I feel like there'd be some like, I feel like subconsciously, he wouldn't be able to hide the fact that he knows she meant what she meant, but like at the same time, he's also been so like.
I was gonna say, I like
not
idea.
the crueler.
He's so mad about it that he's like, no. How dare you?
The crueler.
Yeah.
I'm the crawler.
But
I really like the. I don't know how much of this lore about like the startup of quirks do you get in OG My Hero?
I'm pretty sure this is all original.
That's rad as fuck. This is rad. This is
sure
so fucking cool.
Any mention of vigilante, like you do know from base My Hero, it's like there were people with quirks and they made the hero organization and the heroes stopped the villains. But like vigilantism is an entire thing that never got mentioned.
And that part of the episode's also really cool.
Yeah.
It's really sick to get like world building background. Why the fuck did this start in Rhode Island? What the fuck?
That's so funny.
Is there like a reason for this?
No, it's just funny, I think.
So,
Probably because it's small, so there'd be less people. So
also,
it'd be like easier to implement it. I don't know.
the bit as well of them doing their research, I meant to go over as well of them like talking to random citizens on the street of, hey, have you interacted with them? What do you think? And like, what's your general vibe of each of the three heroes? And just the random people that they end up running into, almost all of them being important in some way. Great, good.
good.
Old grandpa is scary.
Old grandpa is scary. I'm glossing over the pop step bit because I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah. Mason, Mason, for you and me, here you go. Original Justice League Origin number 9, February 1962. 7 heroes band together to repel an alien invasion. Their first headquarters is in Happy Harbor, Rhode Island. There you go. That's why.
Yeah. Okay.
That was my gut
so
feeling.
masculine.
My gut feeling was that it was a comic book reference to some degree. I just wasn't sure in what. That was from a Reddit thread specifically asking about this part of Vigilantes. They're like, this is oddly specific. Why did they choose Rhode Island? Because I also felt the same thing. Yeah, the stuff with Pop, in terms of the survey, certainly is exactly what it is. However, the stuff with Pop being jealous the entire time that Makoto is over is wonderful. I adore it. I think it's very fun. I do really like him training with Knuckle Duster, and just Pop being moody the entire time, and he's like, I don't know what's going on, dude. I couldn't tell you what she's got going on right now.
Women.
They really do kind of play it off like that without ever saying it, which I appreciate.
Fun episode. I love getting Makoto. This is one of those characters I was like, I cannot wait till she's in here because she's great. She's wonderful.
Jealous Pop Step is so cute too.
Yeah.
She's just sitting in the closet getting a bunch of shit thrown at her. Just like, what the fuck? Come out of the closet like, the fuck, Koichi? I'm getting so much pudding after this. You want some?
She's such a little grandma. She's wonderful.
Okay, John. Witch Watch time.
Little bitchy watchy. So this week on the Witch Watch, it's a classic, another 2-bit week. The first one is that Khan and Nico are like, easy way to make money, become YouTuber. However, Morihito watches the videos and goes, dude, these all suck. The thumbnails suck. It's uninteresting. It's very boring. I know the solution to this.
They were 55-minute video. What the fuck is that?
The best part is he's like, I got the solution to this, right? I got this guy I know. He's in quotes the hipster poser classmate. But he's an expert YouTuber. See, instead of 50 views, he has that one view that got 2,000 views.
He like averaged like 70,
but
24.
So introducing Keigo, the guy we met last week. who's now his homie. He's like, all his videos also suck because they're all about his opinions on stuff. It's like my thoughts on this movie, my thoughts on this weird obscure game, my T-shirt collection. Which Nico goes, I actually kind of want to watch the T-shirt one, which is very funny. And so they're like, I got an idea. We'll make a video together and we'll solve this problem. And so Morihito's like locks in. Is like, all right, I understand how this works. We're gonna make a good thumbnail. We're gonna get some good lighting. We're gonna have Nico behind a green screen overlaid playing this shitty game with like Kan just like making like or Kanchi making like noises and references in the background and like commentary as they go. And the video's a hit and they get a couple thousand views. And Morihito's like, God, this is fucking exhausting. Classic editor look. And then comes back in the next day. All right, guys, what's the plan for the next video? And they're like, we're over it now. And that's where the bit ends. And then the second part of the episode, we meet this girl who's Suzuka, who is, very like prim and proper, very efficient. But she sucks at all like the prim and proper things like handwriting and like calligraphy and like tea ceremonies. But her family's very traditional, so she has to be like well presented. But she sucks at it. She's like, hey, I need help doing tea ceremony, but I'm very uncoordinated. So Nico's solution is like, easy. We'll just have Morihito do all the movements and all the work for you and learn how to do tea ceremony. He's like, I will do what now? And so we have a Morihito tea ceremony training arc where he actually kind of smurfs it. But the problem with the magic this week is that they have two very different body types that move very differently. So when he is in control of both of their bodies at the same time, the force he applies to move, the little movements he makes, everything else is like slightly off from what he's adjusted to and learned. Which freaks out the grandmother who obviously fails her in the end after hilarious hijinks ensue. But then passes her because a bee gets in the room, to which Morihito grabs like a stick, which is like the little ladle for like the steam, and just beautifully, gracefully catches the bee. So it allows Suzuka to pass, in which they come back and she goes, actually, I actually have another test in what is like Koto coming up. And she's like, can you help me? You want to learn Koto? He's like, no. And then it cuts to credits. But this episode was cute. Nothing much happened as per usual on the show, but it was a fun time.
It was a silly little time. We got introduced to Keigo, where he has a bit that I think intentionally designed to be annoying, which is that every time he speaks about anything, he goes, but you wouldn't get it. I'm like, it's like a little too niche for you.
Like,
no one will like the same things I like.
Different.
I hope
interesting.
I hope that if this, I don't know who is doing the dub, but I want them to deliver his voice adjacent to fucking Kokichi from from V3. You give him that voice, and everyone in this bit sells 10 times better. Of just, you wouldn't understand.
It's just such a niche movie. You probably don't even know what it is.
But you never heard of it.
So, John kind of said what my issue with this episode this week is, which is that nothing really happened this week. That's kind of the issue I have with the show overall, is that some of the bits are funny, not all of them land, and it doesn't really move the plot forward this week, unlike every other show this week.
Once again, I'm not really a fan of the bits. I didn't think any of them were bad. None of them killed me. None of them got me, really. I was kind of very uninterested in the tea ceremony. And I don't think the YouTube bit does anything particularly new and exciting. Like, I appreciate getting more of this character. He is interesting. I'm open to him. I'm not fully against it. But it didn't really do anything. Like, it's just this show doing its thing. I kind of think our slice of lives this week were not very good. Or not as good as they could be personally, in my opinion. Michael, this is the shit you prefer, right?
I mean, I don't know if I prefer it, I just never particularly cared
Cared for
about
the
the romance
romance.
between the two. Yeah, I do like just watching them be dumbasses. I did get a good few chuckles out of the YouTube stuff. I get the Let's Play I thought was real silly. I enjoyed the little Let's Play of Kego's stupid game.
Yeah.
Just a glimpse into his dark reality.
Fucking if you do somersaults, you don't slip.
And there's like a few bits I like from the tea ceremony. Like I do like the, okay, I have to drink this. But wait a second, they have completely different body proportions. That's not where her mouth is going to be. She looks like Kitty. But yeah, it's all fun little fun times between the gang. Gang is vibing.
Speaking of fun times for a gang, a different gang this week, Michael. It's mono time.
God, we're already back to it. So crazy. Yeah. So my notes for this week were walking around with other mangaka.
Yep.
Because this episode we decide, we got this whole cast of 5 characters. That don't matter. Throw them out. We don't care about them. We got Haru. That's it. Oh God, my internet died.
You're good on our end.
Oh, that's crazy. All of you guys all froze.
It like slowed for a second for me. I think it was a Discord thing.
Okay, my ping jumped to 1.5k.
Crazy.
Which is not a thing ping's not supposed to do.
What?
Anyway,
No.
Anyway, we take the whole gang, we throw them out. Don't want them in. You know what we need? We need to bring back the weird girl from the Exorcism episode and introduce more mangaka. As we just follow Haru this episode. As one of her mangaka friends is getting their story adapted to an anime. That's really cool. We learned about the story she's making. It's a story about a boy who takes over a farm from his dad, and then we learned that like part of the farm is cursed, and that's how his dad died. I don't know how you make this a long-running manga, but she did.
I like the idea, by the way, of it starts out just like a regular Inheritus. Like, it starts out as fucking, Harvest Moon. And then just at some point it becomes an Exorcism battle shonen manga, probably. And I think that's really silly. I do think that's a little goofy.
Wait, yeah, so like, the first like 8 minutes it was just the 3 of them on Zoom
Discord?
talking about, yeah, on Discord, and then they're just talking about. So
I guess
like,
it is
so,
Zoom.
like,
it is Zoom because they call it Room.
I get it. Yeah, I'm gonna say, but like, yeah, they're just talking in a chat room just about bullshit. They're like, so like when a thing gets adapted, it's like, what do you do? And then fucking weird exorcist girl goes, so you see, whenever you adapt a horror thing, bad things happen to the animation studio. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then the next 3 minutes is a bit that's just, so when I first had a thing adapted, the animation studio lost one of the floors in its building. And then the director lost a floor in his apartment building. And then also, the screenwriter's car got into 7 accidents that week. I was like, what the fuck is this bit? What you need to do is that you need to get all of the people working on it plasma air purifiers, because plasma defeats the spirit. And I was like, what the... That is this
so
whole bit.
Was not ready for a plasma air purifier ad.
It's so funny, I think.
It's a silly bit.
Also, beware of taxes.
Yeah, because like it was like with anime happening, the manga's gonna start selling the volumes, and like all of a sudden you're gonna get slammed with taxes because taxes. Yeehaw.
Oh boy, time for tax evasion episode.
Great.
Oh,
And then like randomly in the middle of this, it just goes, so now here are the rules of this event, and I'm like, wait, what happened to our Zoom call? Anyway, it doesn't matter anymore. We are now going around someplace. I don't know, is the place called Donburi, or is that just, I think it's the type of food they're eating.
No, that's the type of dish they're getting.
Yeah. It's a Donburi walking festival where you go from restaurant to restaurant, eating it just got a little. I think the idea is so don would be things served on rice.
Yeah, they're little rice dishes.
Yeah, and they got like mini versions of them. They're going around. In this episode, because our gang's supposed to have 4 members, they forgot. So we need to add a 4th member. Get another random mangaka to just join them for this. whose entire bit, this entire back half of this episode. Oh, it's their editor? That's who she
Yeah.
is?
Their editor.
Oh. Again, her entire bit is that she's fat. She just likes to eat. So while they're sitting there talking, she's ordering extra food at all these places. As well as the fact that by the time they get there, she's already like halfway done, and then restarts with them and does all of the things again to eat all of the rest of the food with them. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Again, this bit is just watching them walk around and eat little bits of food. And then they go, the secret final step. You can't take the rope way up to the top of this mountain. You actually have to walk the whole way up because there's a checkpoint in the middle you have to scan with QR code. Is this just like a thing in Japan? Like these AR like adventure around Japan? Is it like a thing?
I guess.
That's crazy.
Because Hakitaku made a big deal about making a game like it, so I guess AR is fucking revolutionary in Japan. I mean, like, it makes sense. There's a bunch of AR-based games, like, on mobile that's, like, big in Japan, so...
Yeah. But yeah, they get to the top of the mountain. They're like, wow, we got to the top of the mountain. As Haru and,
Just Haru.
Haru is, like, dying. She's out of shape.
Ready to throw her up.
Yeah. One in the middle of this, we learn that a horror manga girl is really bad with spicy food. She accidentally eats a thing with like a little bit of pepper on it and like convulses and explodes. She's like, oh no.
Well,
The problem is pepper has purifying properties. And we learned like 5 minutes before this that she pays her editors $20 a month. Because her editors are demons she summons to do the drawing for her. Not her editors, her assistants. And she's like, oh no, but that kind of pepper has purification powers. Now all my assistants are going to be gone. The deadlines. Oh no. Everything about her is so absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand this bit with her and Ghost.
We don't get dog cam this week. We get parental entry cam.
Election.
Oh, I think my mic is
Perhaps.
too loud. That's okay. Either way, mono this week was fine.
I don't know if he's done yet.
Nah, that's mono this week. Whatever.
Yeah, Mono's fine. It is odd to not have our main character 2 weeks in a row. It is also particularly odd to recycle a bit we've done 3 weeks ago with the food journey thing. Like it's weird. Like we've kind of done this already, and it makes it. I don't really care about the end half of the episode. I think the first bit is good. It has some really funny bits with the plasma purifier. Like, I don't dislike any of these characters. I just think that it is really odd that we do this.
I'm inclined to agree.
Like, it's fine. It's fine. My big thing with Mono is, like, again, I would rather be watching our shows that are actively doing something, than just have good time show. Particularly because I don't have anything I particularly dislike right now. If I had something I was ready to just shoot off, like, it's a matter of how do I feel between this and Witch Watch for me, and then we'll talk about, like, we could talk maybe at the end about how other shows line up for each of us, but, like, for me, it's this and Witch Watch, and, like,
It's very fair.
I had another show that I'm gonna talk a little bit about, where I'm like, I have some writing on the wall that I'm not a big fan about, but it's not up, I don't think it's up for Slay this week. I haven't decided yet. But like for Mono, it's like everything else has like a central thing we're pushing for, and like Mono's thing was that it was the girls taking photos and like the manga going with them for inspiration, and we haven't done that in 4 episodes. So like, what are we doing? Vibing, I get it. But like your camp like had a thing where it was about camping, and you gained something every week about like the process of camping or real life skills from it, and like it was rooted in like its gags, and like so you had a purpose even then, and like that was nice, that was enjoyable. Like what am I learning? I'm learning about the process of converting a manga to an anime. Why? In this show are we doing this? It's an interesting journey we are on here.
I think that's very fair. Like, take so there's definitely like a clear like top half, bottom half. I feel like for all of us, for the most part.
I think there's a couple. I think
like...
most of us have things that we're like meh on. There's like a strong. There's a couple of shows for us that were like they're middle, like they haven't cleared into a top 3, and then there's a pretty clear top 3 consensus. I think.
Yep.
Or at least shows that really have hovered that top 3.
They've been kind of defined for a while in that aspect, so it's just like a matter of like we hit that parity point of the season where it's like the rest of the shows are kind of vying for like a chance to sneak into top 3, but like there's definitely 2 spots that are kind of just like they're gonna be there. We just know they are probably all 3, but like I said, anything can happen in a couple weeks, you know. Especially in sports shows where weird things can happen really fast. That can be very like sudden. And To Be Hero could just do some weird shit, right?
See, I'm gonna be honest with Umamusume. Umamusume, I feel like is the safest show on this podcast because like you know what you're getting every week and it's delivered every week and it hits every week.
To Be Hero switching between pro tags. We saw what it did with the last one, and
we're gonna talk.
We have actually no idea what's gonna happen with the sign.
It's in everybody's #1 spot this week, right? So like obviously we're gonna talk. But we'll get to Be Hero. We're not there yet. First, I have to talk twice in a row.
Well, I want to mention one last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, you kind of mentioned it at the beginning of your little bit for it. But yeah, not having your main cast here really felt weird. To go like, here is a character you've met before, and then 2 characters who are completely new to this episode. Because I think it's because you're not following Sachan. And I was like, if there's a Sachan with the people, okay, that's fine. She's like the protagonist. It doesn't feel like we're ever going to get this group again. Because this is just Haru's side gang.
Right?
And it's so weird to do that when, like, I feel like the whole bit of this style of show is you have a very small core group of characters that you get to meet and learn about through them just fucking around. And you just get to watch them dick around. And I didn't care very much for most of these, for, like, the new characters, the 2 new ones. Because they're just introduced for here. And I was like,
I would be interested to see if there's a reason if they give us a reason we're taking time away. Like, they said they were doing part-time work last week, and that's why we didn't have 2 of them. But I'm curious if, like, we're building to something that, like, they needed to move them away from us seeing them for, but I wouldn't know. And we won't know unless we watch next week's episode and it acts.
It feels like one of those, like, you've had like the main cast for like 8 weeks in a row in the manga, and then they have like a nice little spin-off chapter with like,
I was gonna say,
and, like, her group,
yeah,
and then it comes back to the main cast, for like another 8 weeks kind of thing.
You could tell me that this was a bonus like a couple of bonus chapters, and they decided to adapt them all and throw it into an episode, and I'd be like, cool, why'd you adapt it here? But
it just feels like a filler episode that could have been like skipped over for like
it's like if they adapt Hope You're Happy Lemon and like episode 7 is just entirely just like an image slideshow of all the extra chapters they give you. Because you might have enough of those now that you could make a 24-minute episode of just pure image just slideshow. Because that shit's bi-weekly most of the time. Which good for them. Let's talk about Rocket's Lady's Modesty. Give me 1 second. I think I've got my names down, but you never know. Where the fuck is it? I have to find it. There it is. So this week, we pick up exactly where we left off. We are in conversation about, hey, how did this Battle of the Bands happen? But first, Onoha goes, who's her, and how did she get here? Pointing to Tina. And Lily goes, well, it's, a lot of things. It's my fault, but a lot of things she's here. But the Battle of the Bands is far more important. You've signed us up for something. How? And she's like, okay, so here's what happened. I went and I watched Tamaki play, and it kind of ruled. And then Tamaki was like, hey, I want you to join my band and leave you, Lily. And I said, no. To which all of her old bandmates went, hey, what the fuck? Why are you leaving us? And she goes, well, I was never a part of the group. I was just playing a support role. And I'm done. She cusses him out as like, you're all a butt. You all just try to be like the next big thing without caring about any passion or rock at all. So fuck off. And they go, hey, that's not fair. I fucking, like, begged my heart out on my knees to get you to join this band. Do you know how fucking humiliating that was? And now you're just gonna up and leave without any conversation about it? No! How about this? We do a battle of the bands, and if you win, we'll leave you alone, and if we win, you come back. And Tamaki, like any reasonable human being, goes, no. Why on earth would I agree to this? However, Odaha has stars in her eyes, and absolutely adores the idea of a battle of the bands. And Tamaki goes, oh fuck, she's fucking on some shit again. If this makes her happy, I guess I'll agree to it. And we get this bit where it zooms in on Tamaki, and in the background we see Odaha as like a piece of paper figure running back and forth, being excited, and then it zooms out and Odaha fucking has them in her hands. And I don't know what this bit was, but I adore it, because these characters are very special this week. But Odaha essentially, so they wind up agreeing to this Battle of the Bands. It's an all-girls rock band competition with 4 bands. The only important ones are going to be our group in this rival group. And Odaha's like, sorry I kind of forced you to do this, Tamaki. And she's like, no, it's fine. This gives me a chance to see how Lily plays, because I don't believe she's better than me. Because last time you rejected my offer to join a band, I went fine, and now I'm really good. And you say I'm really good, so like, what does she have that I don't? And Odaha's response is, well, if you play with her, maybe you'll experience what it's like to be around her. You'll experience music with her. Lots of euphemisms for gay sex. And so we cut back, and Lily goes, okay, so we're gonna do 2 guitar. She's a guitarist. She finds out as Tamaki looks at the piano where her notes on the one song are, where she wrote that a certain part of it was too hard for her. And Tamaki picks up a guitar and plays it without any problems whatsoever, without a pick. And Lily goes, oh shit, she's good. I don't like that. Okay, you're a guitarist, I'm a guitarist, so we're doing 2 guitars? And Tamaki goes, no, I'll play bass. I want to see you play guitar. Show me what you got. And then off in the corner, Tina goes, so what kind of music do you play? And Lily goes, oh fuck, I forgot she was here. We have a problem. And Odaha goes, no, she's passionate, let's keep her. And we cut to the next day, and Tina acts fucking goofy in the hallway and talks to her little doll, and meets back up with the gang, so they can start practicing. Lily has been put in charge of teaching her how to play keyboard, because no one else wants to do this job, which becomes very apparent. We do some more performing together. They're just trying to decide on their set list. They have, I think at the start of this, 20 days? 20 or 19?
19.
Yeah, days before the Battle of the Bands to get this ready. And on day 1, they knock out a set list, which, you know what, pretty good. That's basically what you want. And once again, Lily's like, even on bass, Tamaki's really good. Like, on guitar, she's insane, and I feel like I can't keep up with her. On bass, she's like a fucking robot who just nails it. I can't get a read on her. Like, I don't know, I can't tell why she plays music, so I can't find a way to figure out how to be better than her at music, which is a very interesting way to look at this. And everyone gets ready to leave. Beforehand, Tamaki's like, hey, by the way, if we're doing this, fucking get rid of Tina. We are not gonna be able to do this with her. And once again, Odaha goes, nah, she'll be fine. And Tina takes off her headphones and goes, what are you talking about me? And they're like, nah, you're good. And Odaha and Tamaki leave, and they go, Lily, you got this. And Tina goes, wait. Why don't I play something quick? She plays something. And everyone leaves. Lily's like, wait, you aren't gonna tell her any feedback whatsoever? And they both go, mm-mm. Nope. We went. Tamaki goes, not worth commenting, and Onoha goes, you got this, and they just leave her with Tina. And we get, and here we get a little bit of montage of Tina and Lily practicing. Lily can't seem to catch up to Tamaki, and she's getting ready to break the news to Tina that, like, she's just not gonna be able to catch up quick enough, and she should just give up. And as she does, she sees that Tina's actually fallen asleep at the keyboard because she's been practicing so much, and it reminds her of her learning the guitar with her dad. And so she wakes Tina up, and she's like, hey, earlier you were like, I'm gonna become so good at keyboard that I'll be exactly the kind of person you want for our band. And Lily goes, but I don't want that, because you flat out told me that you don't like having to conform to what everybody else wants, and you want it to play music because it might let you figure out who you are. So don't do that. Fucking play rock music to play rock music and figure out who you are. And then she thinks to herself and she goes, damn, that's pretty good. I should probably just focus on my shit too, huh? And that's where we are. That's the whole episode. It's a pretty straightforward them practicing. Oh, the end of the episode, Tamaki goes, Tina plays again. I believe at this point they're 12 days out. It might be 9 even. 7, they are a full week. They fucking move fast. But so Tina plays with them, and after playing with them, Tamaki goes, yeah, no, you have to leave. And we end on that, where she's just like, no, you're not good enough. I like this week's episode. I thought this was really strong for these characters. We don't get too much with Tamaki yet. But I like the role she is playing for the group. And I think Tina's really great this episode. She's just a golden retriever, who just wants to be loved. And everybody's a little goofy this week. And I think that's great. Fucking Tamaki calls Lily a noob straight to her face twice, and Lily almost fucking blows her fuse. I mean, to me, I think the thing that this is leading to is Lily just needs to fucking let go and play. I think she's thinking too hard. I think she just needs to play, because clearly that's what Onoha likes about her, is when she just fucking lets loose and plays, and she hasn't done that with this group yet. I don't know how they fix the Tina problem, because like they're 7 days out, and I can't imagine she's learned more than one song, and they have a whole set list. So unless she's only playing keyboard on one song, which wouldn't be a bad call, like they could adjust the set list so that she doesn't have to necessarily play every song. It'll be a little weird, but like, this is rough to do. Is what I'll say. Like, I'm glad they gave us enough time for her to at least learn the basics, because I can believe that she can learn the basics and maybe keep up with one song in the time she has. But getting the whole set list down, which I imagine is at least 3 songs, probably, I think is rough for her. I don't exactly know what they're gonna do here.
I mean, yeah, this episode was great. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, this episode did a lot for Tina, getting her to just be Tina the whole time. Still not a fan of the bit where she talks to the animal, but like whatever, I'll get past it. It's just one of those anime tropes that just, upon seeing it, my brain goes, eh.
It's the arc.
Yeah, but like outside of that is phenomenal. The stuff we get with her, I love the stuff. I love it. Lily hits her with the, you just have to play. Stop worrying about it. Just play through the whole song. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, Lily. Yeah, that's what you got to do, huh?
Crazy.
It's got to do it.
I like that they're consistently keeping Tamaki's visual ice. I think it's really cool. I refuse to not believe that the scene the second time where she gets frozen at her feet is not a fucking Esdeath reference. Because I think that's almost like panel for panel framing of that kind of position he winds up in with Esdeath, but it is just kind of a submissive position. It just happens to also be ice related.
This week's episode was really good. I really enjoyed the show. I don't remember exactly where I had it on my thing this week, but yeah, I know it is like second from the bottom, but that's just because I enjoy the other shows above it.
Something
more,
has to be there,
but,
yeah.
like, something has to be in 6, but like this show's still really solid.
Yeah, I just want to see where it goes next episode.
Yeah, I kind of want them to play music. I hate when shows like this are like, all right, we're gonna play a song and cut. Like
It's
like
crazy how this show does that.
it does it so many times
It's
too.
musical edging. It's getting annoying.
And I get it, but like it's like I need to see
It's
Tina
like-
either suck
So
or get
here,
better
here
before
is
I
like
believe that
5 of
she's
them
gonna
this
suddenly
week.
be good in a group setting.
here is an
like-
interesting thing I will say as someone who is actively reading, Girl Meets Rock. It is really hard to do manga and like dedicate a large chapter to every song being played all the time, right? So like you do have to pick and choose when you're gonna do a full song because like think about it, someone's
No, for
reading it, especially something that's purely instrumental, like there aren't vocals to put there. And Girl Meets Rock is even weirder because it's actual music, like it's licensed music that gets censored out of the manga. Whoops. Crazy. But like, when you are reading it, what are you reading? You're reading music. Like, that's hard to do. So in that regard, I get it from a source material standpoint of like, you can't, they're not gonna spend the full chapter fully playing out these songs that you're gonna wind up hearing at the competition anyway.
Of course.
So like I get it. And like we do at least get Tamaki playing the portion of the song, like twice. Which I appreciate because you actually do get music. I think it's really weird we don't get to hear Tina play. I think that is like the strangest thing because it's like maybe you're afraid of trying to do music bad. I get that like you got Bandmate to do all your music, so like how do you get them to play keyboard bad? I'm sure they know how to play keyboard bad intentionally. I think that is weird to not have because it's like it's so important for us to understand she's not good, but you won't let us hear how she's not good. And that's a little rough. But I get it. I do agree with you to a degree that it's like you are here
Of
to
course, like,
listen
I
to
just need see
music.
Tina like at least incrementally improving because we've gotten a lot of like Tina attempts to play and then doesn't actually play, and we cut to ooh she's bad. It's like, sure, like maybe she's mid. I don't know. Like we didn't even get to see her like originally play. It cut from like the basic piano too. This is the first time we've seen her actually play noise, and it was like very minimal. Like
Yeah.
and we had a lot of like keyboard noises too. Like no music keyboard noises. Which is funny.
I do think we probably should have heard the end of this episode's song. Like, instead of giving us the ED this week, just have them play whatever they were playing to show us how Tina works with the group. I think that definitely would have helped.
The thing that's going to be really awkward with again, it's one of the things where they could be building up to the bit that is, we know Lily and Otoha, call things bad when they're not.
That's
And
true.
we've seen Tamaki do the same thing. It could be leading to the bit where she's actually completely fine, but these three are just being asshats because they always are. I think we're really far in for that to be the bit we were building to still. Like, that's a little crazy.
I think
in my
we-
opinion.
I think we had a little too much of, like, the she starting from the beginning for that to be the case anymore.
Yeah. Again, and then it's just really weird that we haven't heard any of it. It's really weird. She's played like 4 times. We've heard nothing.
Yeah.
It just cuts and goes, damn, she's bad.
All we heard is that one time where she like played a little bit on her own, where she was like, "Can I have you like listen to me play?" Basically, and that's all we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
And it was fine. You know,
She hits two
Like I
wrong
said, it's one of
keys.
those, like,
Whoops.
I need to see like incremental improvement to believe that she's suddenly gonna go from like complete novice trash to like actual functional in a like group band setting. You know,
Yeah, I'm really interested how they're going to do this.
especially for like a three song set list in like 7 days.
Again, I
but we'll
assume
see.
I assume 3 because my understanding that's pretty typical. For like a small thing like this, 3 songs feels pretty good. Two would also make sense, but it seems like they're practicing a lot for it to be just 2 songs.
I mean, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. You see.
And now we're here. It's me again. It's twice in a row. Crazy. Once upon a witch's death. Sophie's back. Sophie's back because we have a conference that all the important witches have to go to. And Meg, I guess. Sophie wants to... It's not even that Faust is bringing her. Sophie wants to bring Meg. One could argue
Faust
she
literally
wants...
is like, I couldn't be bothered to bring you,
Yeah.
so Sophie asked if she could, and I said sure.
You could argue Sophie wants to do it because Meg is her, like, one and only friend. I argue she just wants to wear a carbuncle as a scarf, and I don't blame her. It's adorable. Lots of torture to this carbuncle this week's episode. Poor thing. So Sophie comes by and it's like, yeah, there's this conference, and they're watching TV, and the Witch of Words shows up on the TV, Chloe, and she's a beauty, and it causes Meg to go ooh-wah, ooh-wah, and her eyes pop out of her head or something. And then...
Just calls her an old man, and it's funny.
Yes, because Meg is. And, oh, sorry, I forgot. This episode opens with Meg bragging about being the Witch of Lapis to 5-year-olds. Because that's our Meg. To which they go, what's wrong with you? But so, Sophie explains, yeah, this is a conference, that happens at New Year's. We're gonna go to a place in the United States, in North America, a place somewhere in North America that is entirely made up and fictional and only exists for a particular day at certain times of the year
The
and
mythical
certain
land of
years.
North America every 2 decades, specifically.
Yeah.
They don't say 20 years, they say specifically 2 decades a lot.
Yeah, well, who knows exactly how long 2 decades is? I couldn't tell you. So they get teleported in, and immediately Sophie gets swarmed by reporters. And Meg is like, I guess, oh, you want me to leave? Okay, Owls, you stay with her. I'm taking my carbuncle back. So Meg wanders off with her carbuncle to find things. Sophie brings her here under the idea that there are going to be lots of important witches here. Perhaps somebody knows something about her curse, which is very nice of her to be thinking about this. Instead, Meg wanders into a child. And Meg goes, oh, whoops, a child. And she goes, I am not a child. And she goes, you look like a child. And she goes, what's your name, child? And the child goes, I can't tell you that. It's confidential. And she goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then she goes, oh, wait, you're surrounded by a bunch of cool little spirits. That's rad. And she goes, you can see spirits? And she goes, yeah. And doesn't ask any further questions about that, despite it being a very rare trait. I think it's really funny. So these two fuck around for 80% of this episode. Where they wander about, they talk about magic. At some point, the carbuncle gets used as a tissue, and it's very unfortunate and should not ever happen again. They wander to a couple of different places. They run into Sophie doing fireworks as a demonstration, and Meg's owl is helping and pisses Meg off. And then at some point, Meg is walking, I'm trying to remember why they get separated again. Meg and the girl at this point, but she walks away, and Meg gets stopped because she bumps into a different witch on the street. Oh my god, what is her name? Does anybody remember her? Eldora. That's it.
Yeah.
She bumps into a witch named Eldora, which we find out shortly, who walks up to her and goes, when you when your curse is gone, you will have lost something very important to you. And Meg goes, my life? She goes, more important than that. Something very dear for you. Your world is going to drastically change. And Meg, being a fucking idiot, doesn't understand what this means. And just assume that something worse than death is going to befall her. While also dying, I guess. Because Meg is still not in a state where she believes that she can complete this quest. Understandably so. And so her and the child wind up going to the main area of the conference, where Faust and Eldora are both there, and Eldora gets introduced as the Witch of... Is it just Destruction?
Yes.
Yeah. And they explain that she shows up at wars and ends wars, because she's based like that.
She single-handedly finished World War II, by what it looks like.
Yeah, you do that sometimes. And the Mage Council essentially went, hey, you're one of the big witches now because we want to keep an eye on you because we think you're a problem. And the media tries to start asking questions, and she goes, no, and silences them. And that's rad as fuck. And they explain that Faust and Eldora are going to be working on creating a magical core to the Earth that is going to help solve climate change and global warming and just all of natural deconstruction. A thing that 2 episodes earlier, I believe, they flat out said, it was the Honori episode. They flat out go, you should not do this. This is bad. We're doing it anyway. Because government. Also earlier we bump into Honori, that was one of the things. Meg tries to get her attention and then doesn't, and then Meg insults her from far away, and Honori goes, how fucking dare you, I'm going to kill you. As one should. So at this point they start to leave and they kind of discuss the idea of like this huge major project thing that is happening. And Meg is very curious about Eldora because she bumped into her earlier. And our child here explains a little more about her. And then suddenly, Chloe, the Witch of Words, runs up and hugs our girl and is acting like a 5-year-old. And Meg goes, this is weird, what's going on? And they explain that Chloe is actually the child, the nameless spirit child, who...
The child.
Yeah. Who is really fucking old, as they always are, and doesn't actually have any magic, but is just really in tune with the spirits. Which, as far as I'm concerned, that's the same thing. I know it's not, but as far as we know, that might as well be the same thing. And they explain that this is a cover-up because if anything, like, they have this person fake being Chloe for public things because it might put her in danger if she puts her face out there. That is suspicious. That is a really odd thing to set up here, as if... Because we have, at this point, no reason to believe there is anything that can threaten or stand up to these witches whatsoever, but I guess there are. And so now Meg has met another friend, and Chloe finds out that she is Faust's apprentice and loses her goddamn mind because she's a Faust fangirl. Which is insane, by the way, because she's ridiculously old, which implies that Faust is fucking ancient. Like, even more so. And then they go back home, and I think that's it, right? I don't think...
Yeah, so, like, they don't even, like, go back home. The city just, like...
disappears.
Dissipates, yeah.
They've been there too long.
Yeah,
They've been jutted out. They've been jutted out of Tartarus. The midnight hour
They
has
kind of
ended.
just get cutscened back to the house.
The dark
Yeah.
hour is
Yeah.
done.
Because the idea behind it is that
Secret third
time
hour of the
flows
day.
differently there because it's on the border of, like, the regular world and another world.
Yeah. But not the spirit world.
Another world also known as Canada.
It's actually just in Alaska.
It's just like the border of Canada and Alaska.
I
But-
think this episode's neat. My hesitation with this is I'm not 100% a fan of how Meg acts all the time. To some degree, it feels like we've rewinded Meg back a little bit. But I get it. She's a fucking goofball and a fucking perv.
She's a little too horn dog this week, though. I agree.
It's
she's
a
little
little
lost in the sauce this week.
it's a little too jarring to go from a really, like, sentimental, like, we worked through a lot of things, to time has passed again and Meg's a little goofy again.
them titties.
Yeah. That's like my only caveat with the show, really.
Here's the thing: is like, let's be honest. If this was a male character, this show would be
Yes.
so much worsely rated than what it is. Because when it's female, it's a little funny. Even if she's gay.
Well, yeah, Thespian Lex
shouldn't
is,
be the
is
exact same,
incredible.
but it's not.
But my thing is, if this was a dude doing it to other dudes, I think it would also be funny. I think it's when it's a dude
You
to
know
other
what?
girls. Then
You
it
know
becomes
what,
weird.
Michael?
I
You
think
might
it's
be
because
right.
it's the same. It turns more funny. But I don't know. Again, we don't have the opposite, so it's impossible.
Okay, but like,
to
what
know.
if it's dudes, or what if it's cross-dressing dudes doing it to dudes? That's a little different, right? But like,
There's also the thing of Meg says all this stuff, but never really actually acts on it.
But besides that one time she rubbed the Nori's feet,
Yeah.
but we don't
Okay,
talk
yeah.
about that.
But that was like a weird, different thing.
Somebody
Happened to
else
happen.
wrote that episode.
Yeah.
I do love the part where like she's like talking about like a Nori, and she's like, "Oh, hey, it's a Nori," and then like she makes one side comment, and she's just like, "Why is the Witch of Wisdom just giving you a death glare?" And she's like,
Just
"Let's move on."
Under her
Let's
breath,
leave.
Nori's like, "I will fucking kill you,"
She's like smiling. She's like, "I'll fucking kill you." I know it.
mouthing, "You are dead" from across the convention floor.
But like I said, I just hate. I'm sorry. I hate characters like Chloe who are like a 150-year-old child like character who acts like a child. I'm fine when they're all proud and haughty and like act like this wise character and they're like a child and it's like sure, whatever. But like when they're like clearly playing into the child character, it's a little bit like that's just weird, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Sothis from Three Houses is fine. Naui from Awakening, I want to burn at the stake.
Yes. Child dragon, also romanceable, which is kind of weird.
Well, yeah,
Awakening's
she's
a weird
fucking
fucking game.
10,000 years old.
Sure, man. Yeah, and I'm 29. What's your point?
Well, you are 29, so I don't know
Yeah, I am.
what you
29
were
in 1 day
proving.
and 23 hours, 55 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't not like the Witch of Words character. I think it's an interesting dynamic of like hiding this like character who can't do magic because she's actually just like half spirit child thing. That the world magic's hiding. Why has it only been hiding for like the last like 20 years? You know, or like even if this Chloe person's like the Chloe Stanton's like 40, it's like she's like at least 150. They said. What was she doing for the other 110 years? Just fucking around and just like.
I mean, she might not have been like present, right? Like she might have been just out in nature
In
with
the
spirits.
It also seems like this like witch council is relatively
Corrupt.
new.
Well, yeah, so obviously to some
Also
degree
corrupt.
corrupt. Yeah.
Also, question: Is the guy a witch? Is he just some dude who just has money? Like, is this just
Statistically-
Elon Musk who's running the Witches Council.
Categorically, he's probably a warlock.
Yeah.
By like fantasy definition.
Yes,
Not
but they
D&D
didn't show him
definition.
doing magic. Which
No,
I'm like, is he
I-
just like some rich
I
dude
just
who's
think
like,
he's
"We
a
should do
yeah, I
something
think he's just a
nice."
bureaucrat.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't love the
Skinner.
Chloe character. It's whatever. But the show overall is still good. But like you said, it's still a little worrying. Of like, I don't know where they're going to go because they've had a lot of ominous plot points up that are kind of like connected, but kind of like not.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the source material, so I don't know like how long running some of these plot points are. Like I don't know where we're gonna get in this like set of 12 episodes, but like if next week they just decide we're gonna like pull a trigger on something crazy, I'm down. I kind of need it to like do something. I feel like it has to pull something. We have to make progress in some direction about either something wacky and like unexpected throws a wrench into this plan, or she has to make significant progress about the tiers. I feel like in a way that gives us an idea of what we're looking at long term.
Yeah, I just had a fun time this episode. I think Meg's super fun. Yeah, she does do some absolute horn dog bullshit, but like for like 97% of the episode she's not, and she's just being a fucking doofus, and that's great. She runs into Sophie and I'm like, oh yeah, it's peak now. Because her and Sophie is one of my favorite dynamics in the show. Those two are wonderful together.
Yeah.
Meg is a side female character from a Tales of game.
Yeah,
She's
honestly.
not like the really important female character in the Tales of game. She's like the second removed female character who's in the background.
She's the like not the Prestea, but like the Sheena.
Yeah. She's but I like a little goofier than some of those get even.
Yeah.
But like she's like if you take certain elements from some of the male cast and just shove them into that character is what it is.
She's like a step above Pascal.
Yeah, I believe she would betray you twice
Yeah,
as a Tales of Party member.
Yeah.
Her and Alvin would get along great. That would be
Yeah.
wonderful. Now I just want a fucking Once Upon a Witch's Death and Tales of crossover. That'd be fucking goofy. I don't know what we would do. Her and Eisen just fucking chilling. I like the show. I need things to move for me. This was the thing I was saying where like I feel like I have a really clear direction with Rock is a Lady's Modesty and I'm enjoying it. I just have questions that I feel like will be resolved in that show. This one I'm like there's still shaky ground where I'm not sold on things yet, even though I really like what I've been getting the past couple weeks.
That's fair.
I'm gonna have so much to fucking talk about for this next goddamn show, Mason.
So, to be Hero X.
Fuck.
So we start off with Shang Chao's funeral, where
Who gave his dad the rights to give this speech? What the fuck?
yeah, it's such a fun speech. I don't remember exactly what he says, but
He walks
I
up
remember
to his son's funeral and goes, "We will not stand for fate fucking around and taking my son's life until I get vengeance and blood." Essentially.
Yeah, right.
Insane.
And after the funeral, Yang Chen walks up to him and goes, "Hey," and his father goes, "Don't talk to me unless you're talking to me about getting vengeance for my son." He goes, "Well, about that, I know who did it, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go find him." And then he proceeds to not do that. And instead goes, "Hey, Xiao Chen, or Xiao Qing, I know you're really broken up about this. I'm really broken up about this. How about instead, I challenge Isol to be like for all he's got, and whoever comes out on top is the new Isol." And she goes, "I don't like this. No. I hope you figure your life out, man." While this is happening, Rock comes in, the guy that runs the cafe, and he's like, "Hey man, I guess I'll help you train. Like, we'll figure this out. I kind of pushed you to be here, so yeah, we'll do that." Yang Chen ends up training, and they come up with this plan to make Isol use his like signature attack. It's called Lightning Strike, I think. And when he does that, he's got this high-tech system that shields him from every attack, but while he's using this attack, he can't use the shield. We end up leading into just a sick-ass fight of just these two duking it out. Speedster powers are always sick. While this is all happening, we also find out that Yang Chen feels guilty and blames himself because he hesitated to run to save Xiao Chen, or Xiao Qing. Chinese names are hard.
Yeah.
And he says he'll never hesitate again. And he beats Isol. And while this is happening, he like comes out on top. We find out we get the big twist of this episode, which is Rock, the guy running the cafe, actually set all of this stuff. Yeah, he set all of this stuff in motion, including Xiao Chen getting assassinated, essentially. All of this to set up Yang Chen becoming a hero and like getting into the top 10. Because at this point he takes Isol's spot and is now number 8 ranked hero. he says, "Yeah, we'll have more to work on from here," and that's where this episode ends. I'm running through like really quick on this. I know.
Bro, him
we have to
walking in
talk-
with the fucking like Mr. Moneybag suit at the end, you're just
I
like,
know.
We have to talk about
this fucking asshole.
We have to talk about a
Fuck
couple of
him.
things real quick, because I wanna get thoughts on how this episode ends. I felt like the implication here is that when you have two people who share the same hero name, and one of them gets defeated, they flat out say, you get the other's trust power. It almost sounds like it implies that, like, they are not the same person anymore. And because we don't hear him ever give a single line of dialogue after he wins, I'm almost willing to bet that that might be the case. That he's made, like, an entirely new person out of this. Which I argue, we don't know enough about the old Isol to know if this has ever happened before. And that would explain a lot about his personality of being so indifferent. Is that, like, he's not the same person he was when he started? We don't know enough to know if that's true. But, like, this really... There's so much here. Who wants to talk general thoughts before I dive into shit that I want to talk about?
Dude, this arc altogether is so sick. I watched this like the day after like the podcast last week, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta wait a whole week to talk about this shit." Fuck me. Because holy shit, like it was like we're kind of like okay, it's leading up to like this weird like, you know, obviously a kind of negative direction, and then it just fucking goes full in on it and like dives into the like, no, I'm here for revenge. I will win. And his uncle's just like, yeah, you'll win. Here, let me teach you a secret. He's going to use his special finisher because he has to use his finisher because everyone wants him to use his finisher. So this press release is going to push him to use the finisher because he knows how they work because he's the same fucking guy. He's the same type of guy that the other guy is on the other side for the regular Isol.
John, I don't think that's his uncle. I think he's just a
I thought it was.
No.
Is this the guy he worked for?
The Rock is not his uncle.
I thought he was like
He calls him Uncle Rock, but I think that's more of like a generic term.
Okay, he just calls him like Unc, basically.
Yeah. Like it's one of those honorific things in like the region of like oh, you are an important older man in my life who's taken care of me. Like cuz I do want to say I think they explain in episode 1 or 2 of this arc that like he was there after his parents died for him. Like, he was around. I don't think there's any blood relation. But this guy did certainly fucking scout out an orphan to turn him into a superhero.
This man went full Bruce Wayne.
So, I wish there was a little more in the direction of you being able to pick this up outside of this episode. I would have really liked that, like, narratively, if I felt like there was a little more for you to grab that might be the case. I'll give it credit that this arc did a really good job of making you not trust people, because we talked about it in episode 5, of like, we didn't trust anyone trying to help him because it feels weird for you to walk up and be like, I'm gonna throw my bet in on this guy. Why would you? I will say, this episode does a really good job because they get back to the base, and he's training, and she is there, and she's like, is this what you should be doing? Like, this seems like a huge risk. What if they want you to do this? And instead of Rock giving any kind of recognition to what she says, he walks into the cage with him and goes, here's how you're gonna win. And I saw that and went, that's weird. Why are you so behind him on this? I'm like
shouldn't you be like the voice of reason?
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, maybe we tone it back a little. Maybe we like reevaluate how deep you're getting in this. He's like, nah, bro. He's gonna use his finisher right here. You just gotta be ready to hit him when he does.
And in the back of my head, I was like, okay, maybe he thinks this is what he needs to like grow up, and that is why he has his. But I was weirded out by the way that the structure went with Rock and how pushy he was for him to do the fight. And then and then they do the reveal. I'm like, that's good. You gave me the bit I needed to put doubt there. That didn't make it feel like it totally came out of left field. I just would have liked a little more. And I think that's where I sit with this arc as a whole. This end fight, rad as fuck. Everything you get from, like, I would argue, like, after the first 8 minutes of this episode, I think all of it's fucking phenomenal.
And
The-
her at the Lucky Star concert, just like slowly
Yes!
losing it
It's-
too, watching it on the phone.
I mean, the episode is called 3 Seats, and she is there alone, and it is heartbreaking. I cannot tell you how frustrated I got at the fact that she has the conversation with him by the shoreline, where she goes, "You were late the first day of class, you had mud on you," and they show him walk in, and he drops a really fucking good, like, comedy response to break the tension. Where the fuck was this guy for 3 episodes? You can give me the guy who is down on himself because he is nobody, because he has no, he has no trust, like, but clearly he is and was somebody who can navigate through situations and has an enjoyable side that she saw. I wish you would have gave me a little more of that, because that makes the payoff of him losing it here and feeling guilty and him stopping to save his friend because he thought that he might have been a romantic rival, that makes all of that 10 times better. And I just feel like it's a misstep to not have given us that side of him. Like, and this is kind of what I always wanted. I felt like he was written too much as, like, the poor, sorry guy who just has nothing going for him and doesn't know how to navigate a social situation. When clearly that isn't, like, he was a successful child, like, hero actor. Like, for kids. He clearly has some charm. And, like, all I really wanted when I got to the end of this arc was, like, I wish you would have given me one more episode to flush everybody out a little more. Give me more about the old Isol. I have so many fucking questions that you tee up about this character that I don't think I'm ever gonna know. Like...
Yeah, especially because he's dead.
Yeah, but, like, you get the scene where he's sitting there and he's like, he won't use that move because the last time he used it was so bad for him. You're a fan of the guy. I would have loved to have seen more of that. I would have loved to have seen a little bit of the old Isol's backstory. Like, all this arc wound up doing was hitting a slam dunk at the end, but making me go, God, I wish your first 3 episodes were so much better. Fucking incredible, stellar show. But God, I wish it was better.
Yeah, the entire fight's phenomenal. Everything we get in the fight, like, not even just, like, visually, the stuff, yeah, like, we get the him running up, the I won't hesitate again. It's phenomenal. But yeah, I do agree.
Small things, man.
It's such the 2
Why
episodes
is
up
he
to
fucking
this, what the
kill
fuck?
Moon?
It's like,
Well,
I mean,
yes,
that.
that.
Yeah, we have no idea at all why that's gonna be a thing, because we know now it has to be him, because we know this has to have all happened pre nice stuff.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have that long of a time skip in this. It's just I want
fuck.
it's yes.
You
Song
get
Chan, that's his name, whatever. He
get
just is
no-
such
you
a
get no-
nothing character till this episode.
There, by the way, the episodes were the episode titles were awesome. 1 actor, 2 Isols, 3 seats.
Yeah. You get the fact that you get no closure is a crazy choice. You don't get to figure, like, you don't get to see where it goes. I will be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of also not seeing the little brother again. Because he's such a pivotal character for him.
Where's his motivation?
My hope-
obviously,
My hope is that we will see him down the road towards the end when, like,
be like disappointed.
this
in him.
character. Yes, like, I would not be surprised if he's a nice fan.
Like a redemption, or maybe it's like a redemption arc for him to like bring him back to reality. Like, hey, you've lost yourself. You know, this is not.
Yeah.
I liked when you were Isol. You're not Isol anymore, right? And maybe that's what it'll take afterwards. But like, who knows? But at the same time, it's just like, God, this show's like, its way to build an arc. It did a great job of like ending this arc in terms of like making a lot of stuff make more sense to a degree, but also adding even more questions onto it, right? Where it's like, is this really him? Is this just the character consuming him? Is this like this persona of like what people think Isol is and like what they want the new Isol to be? We don't know, right? Because the thing is, we get a lot of his internal like difficulties with the situations going on and stuff, but we don't realize that a lot of that's also getting affected by like what people believe him to be as the new Isol,
Yeah.
right? So is it like, is this actually him that's changing? Is it like him processing this, or is it like a balance of like him trying to process this while everyone else's expectations of what Isol should be also changing how he is as a person, right? Because he doesn't have someone telling him that like, hey, this is like psychologically and physically going to alter you as a person,
Yeah.
right? He's just experiencing it. Like no one's coaching him on like, hey, you need to keep yourself as you, right? Like we saw with Lin Ling, right? He had Moon and he had like other people. He had what was it, the strongman, also saying like, hey,
Man. Yeah.
Firm Man being like, hey, be true to yourself. Don't lose who you are as a person.
And you
That's
also
the hardest thing about this job.
you also had him realizing himself that things were changing.
Yeah, like being more perfectionist in the little things and stuff. Whereas like with this character, he's not noticing any of this. He's just so like trying to process everything that's going by so fast. Which makes sense for a guy that has lightning powers too. But like,
yeah, I'm not the
no,
biggest
it's sick.
fan of the transition from Funeral to Seek Revenge. I feel like it's really fucking quick. And I feel like it leaves out some like core details of like why he's so determined to believe that it's the old Isol who did this. Like I feel like we missed the part where where you have the deduction that leads you to this conclusion. Instead, it's just like he knows it was the guys who set him up, and the jump there is that, well, old Isol tried to frame me for the kidnapping originally, so it must be him. Because I would totally buy that it was like old Isol's manager who did it, if that was the direction we were going. But like it doesn't seem like they actually had any fucking hand in it at all. I just feel like that bit's really fast into the ramp up to get you to the battle, which is fine, because again, ending's fucking sick. The show rules. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it doesn't. I've taken in these 7 episodes now, and in my head I'm like, I think episode 4 should have been a 10 out of 10 episode for me, because it's just proven to me that they fucking nailed everything with nice in a closing finale that I could have possibly wanted. But my gut, after watching it, wasn't quite that it was that level. But if like, look, when we finish this season of the podcast, I'm gonna be like, yeah, Witch Watch is not the only show that had a 10 out of 10 episode. There is definitely fucking one here in To Be Hero, and it's the end of the nice stuff for me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the moment I didn't feel like that. But this arc retroactively made me go, wow, I appreciate the shit they pulled off with Nice so much more, because to me, they nailed every step of the way with that story. I'm really excited to see where we go. Like, we obviously know who we're going to next.
Yep.
I'm excited to see how they do it. And
are we going further back in time? It seems like it, just by like the preview.
I would be very interested if they loop us back to her, because she's a fan in the audience with her. I'd be very interested to see how much we're going to get an interconnected web or not, or if it is just going to be like, yeah, we just keep pushing further away in different time spots here.
It's just very interesting, and I think I do like a little bit the arc order, because I know we talked about like them doing the new Isol story first, but I kind of like the way they've done it, because they set up a situation where it's like, obviously we know these stories interconnect with the Moon incident, right? And so it's like a matter of like, we see how this has gone pretty good, and we see how this has gone pretty bad for these characters becoming heroes, right?
I do think it's really I think you're right.
Where have we crossed a line, and where is like, is there a middle ground, right? Like, because it's almost like every single story so far has been about the consequences of becoming a hero, basically, right? There's been no like happy ending. It's just been all like downhill for a lot of these people, right? Because even Lin Ling like had a ton of like, he had some high highs and he had some fucking low lows there, with a lot of stuff he's dealt with.
Yeah, like generally we have not really seen an example of being a hero works out in the long term for anybody's mental psyche. But I do agree with you, like structurally, knowing that the direction to take Isol is kind of in like a anti-hero villain kind of feel around him, because whether or not that's what he is, that's what the show, like, I feel like you leave this arc not feeling good about where this character is.
But it's a great parallel to Nice.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Where it's like, hey, you have one guy who's doing it the right way, and one guy who's been doing it the wrong way. That originally Nice was portrayed as being done, right?
Yeah.
He was very like structured to be this hero, was not actually a hero, was just like all publicity, all PR, all, you know, big stunts and big incidents, until finally he broke through that mold and is now like Linling the commoner, right? But then you have new Isol, who's like the PR, the tragedy, the stories, and then the big moment.
Yeah.
But clearly something's not right.
Yeah,
so
it's
interesting.
You're the guy who gets the girl, and then the girl gets taken away from him. You're the guy who had the girl and loses her.
I don't know, man. It's sick.
Show's rad.
This is like one of those shows that's like, man, it's so hard a lot of times to not watch the next week and be like, okay, like I need the context. Which is why it's a really good show. Let's see. Also, just OP and ED slap too, so it's just like also just like it helps. In parentheses, anime king is awesome. Oh, I got home from the baseball game because I worked the day before. The game was an afternoon game, and I took a 4-hour nap, and so I'm just like, oh.
I'm excited that every season of the podcast we do gets a little gayer.
Right. It's also us kidding out.
And I'm excited for next season if summer works out and it does happen, because boy do I got one already teed up. You won't see it coming that it's gay, but I know it's gay because I've read 2 chapters of the manga and it's gay. The undertones are there. It is subtle. Mason's like, what could this be?
No, it's I see what happened.
Oh, Mason's getting ready.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 shows that have no slays. Who can be surprised by this outcome? Cinderella Grey, Vigilantes, and To Be Hero X. And then 2 shows with 1 slay each, Raucous Lady's Modesty and Once Upon a Witch's Death. And a tie for 3 slays on Witch Watch and Mono.
Yippee wheel. Yippee!
Wow. So the show it lands on gets the slay. It's dead.
Yeah, I'm already removing my show. It's okay.
This is a bullet straight to its head.
It's okay. I'm already sliding my torch over because I don't win these.
Well, why'd you will it? Why'd you will it?
It's just a fact, Sean.
If you don't say it, it doesn't happen.
No. Yes, it does, Sean. We've been through this about 12 times. I'm not convinced that wheel isn't weighted.
Well, with that, guys, we have voted. We have voted John off the podcast.
But I don't believe it. That's okay. Now I can watch To Be Here on my own.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's not how that works at all.
I watched the entire next arc. Yippee.
Would be the crazy play at top 4 to vote off To Be Hero just so we can binge what's out of it. Oh, I won't do it. Don't worry, unless it deserves it. You never know. Crazier things have happened. Oh, there was a point I wanted to make. which was I found it very hard to understand many seasons ago, before Mason and John were here, I believe. John might have been here for this season. Actually, I think you were. But I like had a very hard time when To Your Eternity was on this podcast, and people were very down on the show for certain arcs of it, because I just thought the show was so good, and I couldn't understand, putting other things over it, even if you necessarily weren't super into the arc, because the show was just such high quality. And now I get it. Now I'm having that moment where I'm like, this arc for To Be Hero was one of those things where for a large portion of it, I just wasn't as big of a fan as I was for the other portion of the show I've had. Obviously the show's fucking incredible, but like, I was like, okay, but now I get it. I understand how we got here with To Your Eternity. Do I still disagree about its vote-off spot? Absolutely. I'll never not.
John, I know
But-
John was there because I know what took
Yeah.
its place in top 3.
Yeah.
Who say Tragic Power, which was John's show.
Which honestly, good show. Finished
Was a
second.
good show.
It was a good show.
Great.
Was a good
Show's really
show.
cute.
But yeah. But now we're down to 6 shows, which means next week it's a top 3, bottom 3 split. I wonder what those power rankings will look like. It could be anybody's game.
Hey, maybe this next To Be Hero arc sucks even more. You never know.
You never know. It's the music
Maybe
arc,
not.
so
Yeah, they're shifting to only using 2D animation.
So they-
Literally,
so
why
they-
would they ever
so
do
they-
that
so
or
they-
something?
so they claim.
Yeah.
So the internet claims. We'll see. But yeah. That about wraps it up. Have a good